Welcome to another edition of Winners Get Money, Season 2, Episode number 5. Yep, number 5 already. It's crazy how fast this is going. I'm James Myers. I got my boy David Rahano. What up, David?
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Let's go. All right, so Episode 5, we're going to talk about what stood out in Week 4 of college football. I already crushed 4 weeks of it. Crazy. Recap, you guys know the drill. Recap best bets for our college football slate that we had last week. Then we're going to recap a little NFL, what we learned from Week 3, and then we'll talk about recap our best bets in NFL. Talk about how we're doing overall in the season, and then just kind of a little Survivor, how we're doing in our Survivor contests, maybe, and anything else to look out for. And that's pretty much it. Did I leave anything else? Yeah. Did I leave anything else out? I don't think I did. Maybe I did.
No, yeah, let's go ahead and get into it.
All right, let's do it. Let's start with recapping our best bets for college football. Finally had a good week. Finally. Yeah, I went 2-0. One on FSU, the disgusting play I told you guys, and it was not a pretty game. I think they won 14-9 against Cal at home. It was disgusting, but they won. It's a cover. They won by 5. And then I hit on Arkansas +3. That was another not the greatest looking game. But Arkansas ended up winning outright. I think they won by 10 in Auburn. They did that game. I don't know if you saw any of it, but that game was wild. They both teams switched quarterbacks at one point because both quarterbacks were throwing picks. So bad. At one point, I think in the third quarter, at one point, both combined 6 turnovers. So very ugly game. Probably should have hit the under as well. That would have been nice, but didn't. Went 2-0. So college football, I'm 5-5 overall. So back to 500. You're in a college recap.
We can just go ahead and skip it. To be honest, it was, it was not good.
Yeah.
Not a good week. I guess after kind of a week like that, you got to go back to the drawing board. Went 0-3. Certainly not good. Had Missouri -20. They didn't cover. Maryland -21 on the pod, ended up closing at like 19. Yeah, they won by 18. So
God.
a dirty backdoor cover. Yeah, that was a tough one. And then I upgraded that lean for Boston College for that whole red bandana game, and they ended up winning by 5 points. I think it was 23-19 or maybe by 4 points. So yeah, overall tough week. I mean, I took off favorites. I was, spread chasing a little bit, but it's a long season, so 4-7 overall. Hopefully we get, I have 3 plays this week, so hopefully we get to that, 500 mark, and then from there we kind of go over. So, that's pretty much all I have for the recap. Kind of what stood out to you in this week?
Yeah, I would definitely say Tennessee, the big games, Tennessee, Utah, Michigan all got big wins. So the most public game, I think, before kickoff was USC, Michigan, and the public was all over USC. Michigan switched quarterbacks, got a big one at home. That was a nail biter. Utah ended up going to Oklahoma State, almost blew a 19-point lead. And they ended up winning by 3 at Oklahoma State. And then Tennessee, there's a reason. And Tennessee was another big public play, but I couldn't do it because because we had Oklahoma against Tulane the week prior. I was not impressed by the quarterback, Arnold. Tennessee ended up winning by 10. They look great. I just don't know if that defense is legit enough to go all the way and potentially get to the Natty, but because their offense looks good, they got a great quarterback. Tennessee's solid. It's anything else for you that's out?
I mean that Tennessee game. They've came out to a pretty hot start. I've kind of heard people talk about their schedule early on to see if they actually are, as legit as I mean they look record wise. Time will tell, but certainly a good hard fought, win for them last week.
Yeah.
We talked about the Michigan SC game briefly last week, and we wanted no part of it. And then after, we kind of thought about it a little bit more, saw how big the public was on SC. Is that correct? I want to say.
Yeah, they were on USC.
They're on USC, right?
Oh yeah, dude. It was the most public game I think of the weekend.
That's what it was. Okay, yeah. I don't know why in my head I was thinking Michigan was like a public dog, but no, yeah, Michigan was sharp side.
Yeah,
That game would open up at 6, close at 4.5.
I
So,
think so. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, good win for Michigan. 32 passing yards, but I mean, they got it done.
Yeah.
Props to Michigan's defense there. Um, and
Let's
then,
yeah. I'd say the one thing we left out, we got to throw a little love at that Colorado Baylor game.
yeah,
That was, that was the Hail Mary to tie it. Yeah, just nuts. I saw the rest. Baylor, I don't know if you saw Baylor missed a chip shot field goal to go up 10 with like a couple minutes left too.
oh, really?
Yeah, Baylor missed a chip shot field goal. I think it was like a 35 yarder, missed it. And then obviously we know Colorado got the Hail Mary. Um, and then they get and then Baylor, so Colorado scores a touchdown to go up 7 in the overtime. And then Baylor's about to score and they get the ball punched out and Colorado recovers. And it was just wild. I mean, everything was just set up for Colorado to win that game. That was an insane game. Yeah, anything on that?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of saw like the end of it. I remember I was walking back to my car on Saturday after the the Padre game. I walked by
Yep.
one of the bars, and then I saw the end of Colorado ended up winning. That's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy game for sure. I ended up seeing too. There was it was like the Baylor announcers on the Hail Mary,
Mhm.
and they're just angry. They're like,
Oh
no,
yeah.
no, screaming. I mean, like it's certainly a tough loss. I mean, we'll probably talk a little bit about Baylor later on in this podcast,
Mhm.
but man, good win for them for Colorado. A lot of people kind of wrote them off. I mean, they fought hard and they came back. They probably got that game gifted to them, but for sure, it's one game to talk that we had to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and they're getting, I think they're 14 and a half point dogs against UCF this week, which is pretty crazy. Because, yeah, but I think a lot of sharps are actually on UCF. I saw early action. Um, yeah, so nothing else college football?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's some big games this week as well.
Yeah.
If we want to kind of just get into the slate for this week, and
Yeah, obviously we can start Georgia Bama, obviously the biggest game of the weekend. Let's not kid ourselves, it is. Game is at Alabama. I don't want to go too much into it because we got some play on it. We can save it for that. But yeah, that's the biggest game. Who else is it? If you know off the top of your head, you can spit it out. Throw it
yeah, there's
out
a
there.
couple. Louisville Notre Dame is another
Yep.
big one, 15 against 16. We have we had another top there, Illinois Penn State is another good
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Another top
Okie
25.
State, K State, Oklahoma
Okie
State,
State.
Kansas State.
Yeah, I think those are the three main top 25.
Arkansas,
Uh,
Texas A&M is probably a big game too. I would say at Jerry World. Yeah,
yeah, it's
that's a
always a
good.
big game
Yeah.
every year for sure. Yeah, those are like
Um.
the big games. Other than that, I mean,
Yeah. Nothing else crazy. It really pops
nothing
out.
else too crazy. At least for like playoff implications, I guess we could say top 25
No.
wise.
I think Arizona
Um,
Utah. Arizona's not top 25, but I think Arizona Utah might be a decent game. Actually, I think it'll be. We'll see, but yeah, I would say that one as well.
yeah, yeah. But
Uh,
with that, you want to get right into it?
yeah. Let's jump into it. And not keep the people waiting. Do you want to start? Do you want me to start on our best bets for college?
I'll go ahead and start this week.
Yeah, start us off.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, tough week last week. Um, I kind of want to go big game hunting this week, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a play on the Bama Georgia game. The line is Bama plus 1.5. No, actually plus 2.5. I think
Yeah,
I
it's two and a
saw
half now. Yep.
Amavata. I'm gonna go ahead and take the money line with Bama here. It's a toss up to be
Yeah.
honest with you here. It's Georgia. They've been looking good all season. You have Alabama team. I mean, I think we kind of keep saying it. Just no Nick Saban, new head coach, but much of the same team is there.
Yeah. Mhm.
And Milrose look good so far this year. I mean, they maybe they kind of stumbled upon South Florida a little bit. Maybe they didn't take their game as seriously as they should.
Mhm.
Until that fourth quarter when they put up like 21 points, and kind of showed kind of who they are. Um, this is a revenge spot for Georgia. Just with the whole SEC championship, knocking them out of the playoffs. Georgia, one lost team didn't even get in. So we're expecting a good effort from Georgia here for sure. I mean, they're a good team. They're going to show up
Yeah.
for a game like this. I just feel like in a game so tight that almost feels like a coin flip. Take the home team here. Bama prime time. Like this is the chance for for Bama to make those next steps, like post, Saban era. So I feel like this is the kind of big game to prove, like, hey, we're still going to be, the top team, that everyone's, trying to chase. So we'll do Bama on the money line right here.
Yeah, I like the play actually. If I had to take a side, I'm not going to bet it personally, but if I had to take a side, I'd take Bama money line as well. Home, like you said, toss up game. You're getting a home dog. Yeah. So that's always a good spot here. Milrose looked good this year. He has another year under his belt. A lot of people didn't know about him last year because he kind of just came on the scene last year. That was it. Now he's got a full year. He's got the experience. He's played Georgia before. Now he gets him at home. Yeah, he should. They won't be intimidated at all by these guys. Georgia's a little bit susceptible, this year a little bit. Struggled with Kentucky. Kentucky could have easily won that game. Only won by one, I think, at Kentucky. Georgia in the past has had those scares as well. Not gonna lie, they have, and then they've woken up. But I think this is maybe a little bit of a different Georgia team here. So I like Bama at home. I don't really see whoever wins this too. I don't see a lot of repercussions. Like I think both teams will be in the playoff no matter what. Because they're both really good. But I like, yeah, I agree. Bama at home, definitely. Do you think Texas? I was talking to my buddy today. Do you think Georgia's the best team, or do you think Texas best team or Ohio State right now?
I think it's Georgia.
Georgia,
I
yeah,
mean, Texas has looked really good. I mean, they had that
yeah.
really convincing win at Michigan, but I just something about Texas. I mean, we kind of
Yeah.
talk about it for the last couple of years. Like, they always get overhyped a little bit. They stumble here and there. But I mean, as of now, they look good. I mean, they're not too far behind Georgia. Like, I guess if I were to do my power rankings, Ohio State I would have third for sure. Um, my power rankings and all that.
Just don't know
But
what they're about yet. I
yeah,
don't.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're week 5 already, and we still don't really know exactly which teams want to, like, come to the top. Because we
Mhm.
can say the same thing about Georgia, same thing about Alabama, and then with this whole college football playoff, like it just changes like the dynamic of who these teams are. Because maybe they're like, oh, we can afford to, play a little bit more conservative. If we lose a game here and there, it's not going to hurt as much as it would last year or the year before. So
You're right. Yeah.
um, yeah, like you said, like we just don't know who's serious, who's not, or we don't know what to make of these teams.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I mean it's interesting for sure. Kind of thinking about 5 weeks in, who's like your top team. And certainly those 3 teams are up there.
What's the status of we'll make it quick. Do you know the status of yours? What's Arch Manning got the start last week? I didn't even know
Yeah,
he was hurt.
yeah, he was hurt. He might be out for one more week. I can look that up as
See,
we
that's
as we
nice for
talk.
Texas too, though. They got an Arch Manning in the back behind him. That is kind of
Yeah,
nice. I'm not saying he's as good as yours right now, but it is a nice backup to have.
yeah,
While
and
you're
he's looked
looking, oh,
good.
good.
He's
Mhm.
looked good too.
Yeah.
He's looked good. He looks like he can, play the role and fit as a starter if need be.
Mhm.
Yeah, it still says questionable.
Okay.
His estimated return this weekend. He
The,
might
you
play
know,
this weekend.
I could see them sitting them again. They're playing Mississippi State. I think they're like 44.5 point favorites.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Mississippi
I feel
State's
like,
bad.
yeah, there's going to be no
Yeah.
rush, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, Mississippi State. I was watching a little bit of
They
them
got
play
smoked by Florida.
Florida. It was ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
Florida just kind of rolled them.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean they have. Yeah, we'll see what happens with yours, but yeah, I probably would agree with you if I was the coach. I'm letting them sit this week. So
Yeah. Makes sense. All right. Let me jump into mine. My best play this week is actually we're gonna keep it West Coast. We're gonna go UCLA plus 24 versus Oregon. Yes, I know they played LSU last week. A lot of two big games back to back, but I like the spot here. I'm not convinced yet on Oregon fully. I think they are a good team, solid football team. They'll probably end up making the playoff because it's 12 teams now. But I was telling you offline, like I've seen Oregon State, who Oregon blew out last week, and Oregon State struggled with SDSU for a long period of time. Oregon State is nothing special. And just because Oregon had one good half of football, all of a sudden they're just world beaters and they're able to lay 24 again. Like the first couple of weeks, they were laying 40 to Idaho. Laid what did they lay against Boise? Like I think it was 30 or something, 27, something like that.
27-28. It was like
Yeah,
4
and then it's
touchdowns. So it
like all of a
was,
sudden,
yeah.
so they have one good half of football, and now all of a sudden they're laying over 3 touchdowns. No, I like UCLA here. Conference game. They'll be familiar with them. They're going to UCLA. Big game. Yeah, I'm taking the points here. Garbers look good, except that second half. Yeah, he needs to pick it up a little bit. But that first half, Garbers, the quarterback for UCLA, looked really good. Offense didn't sputter too bad. Uh, so it'll be interesting. But I'm going to take the Bruins here plus 24.
Yeah,
Then
I lean that way certainly for sure. I probably won't have play on this game, but yeah, I mean you kind of hit all the points already. Like we were on Oregon, I think week one. We were on Oregon again week two, thinking they'd come back and show kind of like the team that everyone expects them to be.
mm,
And they didn't show that up until Oregon State. We laid off. Oregon State has a good second half, blows them out, covers the game. And I think it just goes back to kind of what we're talking about with the Texases, with Ohio State, with Georgia. It's like, what are these teams?
yeah,
And I think 24 at this point in the season, like I haven't seen anything that shows that Oregon should easily cover the spread. And if we kind of look on like the UCLA side, Garber's good first half. They went to LSU. They were tied at the half, or they were tied or up by
yeah, they're
3. I don't
tied.
remember exactly.
Tied.
Tied
Yeah.
at the half, looked good. I mean, obviously, like LSU just overall better team. They broke them down second half, and you know, if you want to cover a spread that is like 21, 24 points, you have to play at least 3 quarters of football. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Um, and with UCLA here too. I mean, they're at home. Oregon had a bye last week.
I want to say yes. Yeah.
So Oregon's coming off a bye. I mean, they're ready for this game. A lot of familiarity with being two old Pac-12 teams.
Yeah.
But Oregon, against the spread 1-3. LSU last week, they're 0-4 now against the spread.
Yeah.
So it just kind of shows like UCLA can kind of hang around. If they fix a couple things on offense, I feel. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have for this
Yeah.
game. So yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see.
Sweet.
We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. Your next play.
Yeah, our next play is going to be Clemson. We
Hmm.
have Clemson first half -13. So yeah, with Clemson, just after that week one game when they played Georgia, first half was really close. First half was looking good. Um, they kind of wore down the second half, and since then they've kind of put up a lot of points. Defense has been looking good. Like they've been rolling as of late, and I kind of see them continuing that here and continue to roll and yeah, I think I like the first half here just because with Stanford, they go to Syracuse last Friday. They end up winning. Did they win that game? It was late. It
Who
was like a
what was
late field
it?
goal.
Stanford won, I think. Yeah.
Stanford, yeah. So they go to Syracuse.
Mm.
I'm assuming they have to come all the way back across country, get
Nope.
ready. Then they have to go all the way back over to Clemson. It's probably not the best spot for them. But we'll just look for the first half here to get them to quick winner. Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Clemson's been playing really good ball lately. Since the Georgia game, really good ball. They're at home, right? Clemson's at home,
Yeah, Clemson at
obviously.
home.
Um, yeah, I like it at home. Clemson's been a wagon right so far at home. I think they've covered every game so far at home.
Yeah.
Blew out NC State. I know it's something special, but they're scoring. They're scoring against the teams they should be scoring. Put up 66 against App State, and I think they put up 60 almost against NC State. So they're putting up the points. Maybe a play on the over as well. Because these overs are hitting easily with Clemson. Their defense is legit. Like I mentioned, I think I mentioned that in the first episode after they played Georgia. So yeah, I like the number here for Clemson. Let's go to my second last play. My second and last play. I'm gonna take the Arkansas A&M under 52.5 here at Jerry World. I just have noticed I had Arkansas last week. All they can do is run the ball for the most part. They had one big touchdown pass from the quarterback, Jalen, oh my God, Green. Yeah, he threw one bomb down the field and the receiver made a great play. But other than that, this dude has to roll out. He has to run the ball. Arkansas's defense is legit. I think it's not bad. A&M, I noticed when they go against a good defense, they don't put up a lot of points. Example against Notre Dame week one, did not put up a lot. That was a very low scoring game. We leaned under in that game as well, and it hit. So I'm going to go Arkansas under A&M under 52.5 here in Jerry World.
Yeah, I was certainly thinking that way as well. I mean, kind of you mentioned like Arkansas, they like to run a little bit. I can see them grinding out the clock, long drives. Even if they don't get touchdowns, field goal drives even better
Mhm.
for trying to hit it under of like 52 and a half. And Texas A&M too is like they just that offense. I don't really believe in that offense.
Yeah.
We see them with Notre Dame, tight game, and like just it's just the same kind of story with Texas A&M. It's just like they come in high expectations, all these 5-star recruits, NIL money, whatever they keep saying, right? And like they just don't perform, and it's kind of just what we're seeing, so far this year. And um, in this game's in Jerry's world. There's no real home field advantage. If it was in College Station, I'd like the under even more because it's just a
Yeah.
tough place to play.
Hmm.
But yeah, I can see a lot of just long drives, maybe long empty drives to be honest.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean I see this game like in the low 20s. So the under 52 and a half, I think it's a pretty good play.
Yeah. 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 Your last play.
Yeah, the last play here. Have three this week. Trying to go back to that
Let's
7 and
go.
7. Um, but we are gonna go SMU minus 6 against our old friends, Florida State.
Yeah. Seminoles, baby.
I mean, yeah, pretty soon this is gonna become a Florida State podcast because we talk
We
about
love
them every
them.
week. Yeah, but it's good though. I mean, just the familiarity with a team that you kind of follow throughout the season. You know when to fade them, when to back them. It's like we know them a little bit more. And here we get SMU minus 6. We're at home. It's a pretty big game. For SMU, it's probably one of the bigger like programs to come in. And play over there. And Florida State. I mean, you mentioned it a little bit in the recap. 14-9, 14 points last week. They end up
At home.
covering, but
Yeah.
Florida State, they got their one win under their belt. So, who knows how many more they're going to get after this. SMU started off rough. They lost to Nevada, lost to BYU, and last week they started to look good again.
They
Um,
smoked TCU.
they smoked TCU. Yeah, they
Yeah.
legit smoked TCU. Um, and so yeah, I mean, we're having here laying a little under a touchdown. I think they can win this game by like 7 points,
Yeah.
and I think the Padres just won. So,
Let's
uh,
go.
um, I'm screaming over there. Sorry. Um, I just hear screaming in the background.
No, no, it's all
Uh,
good.
yeah, I mean SMU here, minus the 6 for third place. So we'll see if they kind of just run, keep it rolling, and hopefully they get me to that 3-0. I mean, I'll be betting this
Good.
game from Phoenix. So
Yeah, baby. Catch that last series with the Padres at the Diamondbacks. Um, yeah, I like it. A little reminder for you folks listening. SMU is a top 25 team going into the season as well. So maybe this is the top 25 team kind of coming out now. Finally finding the groove after a few weeks. Against the guy, I think they put up 66 against TCU last week. So maybe, Florida State's defense has been good, but has Florida State played an actual road game?
Florida State, let's see. Florida State has
Because they played in
played.
Ireland against Georgia Tech.
So yeah, so week 0 Ireland, and then they played home against who's it?
BC,
BC. They played home
Memphis
against
home,
Memphis, and then they
home
played
against
home against
Cal.
Cal. So this is their
And then I
first
think they
road.
had a bye or
Yeah,
something like one of
they
those
had a bye
times.
after the Boston College game.
Yeah, this is their first road game. I don't think they've played a road game yet. That's wild. In week 4 or
Yeah, week
5? 5. Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
Well, technically week 6 because they had week 0. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's kind of crazy too. So first road game of the season too, and like if DJU is struggling at home, I mean, what's he gonna pick it up on the road all of a sudden? I don't think so. So yeah, I like the play here. Let's jump after a nice Padre win. Let's
yeah,
jump
clinch a
into
playoff berth as well.
yeah. Oh, it was playoff berth. Let's
Yeah,
go, baby. Nice. Um, yeah, let's jump NFL. Uh, let's go recap here real quick. Um, yeah, not a good week for me. I went 1-2. Titans -2. I faded Malik Willis was a mistake. Will Levis may not be the guy officially. I'm kind of out on that. Went Ravens -1. I won on. And then yeah, Jags +5 might be the worst play of the year for me. Just got absolutely hammered by the Bills. I thought this was a bounce back spot. No. Jacksonville might just be really, really bad. Lost to Miami in a heartbreaker, and then they lost to
the Browns, right?
Yeah, lost to Cleveland at home. Both terrible teams. If you really think about it, Cleveland's horrible, and so is Miami. Um, yeah, so I don't know what I was thinking here, and they just got smoked by an actual good team. So yeah, terrible play. And I'm 3-5-1 overall. Yeah,
Yeah, my NFL not too much better, but we went 1-1 last week. Had the Colts -1, which was a little hard. It got a little bit closer than I would want. You got Richardson throwing picks in the red zone and everything, but we got home with that one, which was nice. Then I took the Titans and a lot of sharp action on the Titans, and they just rolled over and made an egg. So tough
yeah,
loss there. Um, but I mean, 1-1 overall. Yeah, last week wasn't too bad. 3-4-1 overall on the season. So we'll look to get a little bit better, and I think kind of just what we talk about is how long the season is, how
yeah,
much of a grind it is every week. We'll start to hit our stride, and once we get hot, it's watch out, because
yeah,
we're getting there. I think we're getting those data points that we kind of look to see in these games, where these games are a little bit sharper. So for sure, look for us to start getting 2-1 weeks consistently.
yeah. Also another note. So 3 weeks so far. Each week, the biggest underdog is won outright. Just
Yeah.
something to note, guys. Pretty
So
wild.
Patriots this week, money line, and
Yeah,
then if you want to take what was it, the Chargers, I think would be the second one. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we'll talk about the Chargers
we
actually.
will talk about Chargers.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else to NFL? I mean, Minnesota's 3-0. Bengals are 0-3. After that loss, that was probably one of the. I admit that Bengals Redskins game or whatever it might be that probably is the best game of the year so far to me. I mean, some of this ball's been bad, but that was actually a really good game. Um, yeah. Anything else? I don't know that stood out.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I guess Pittsburgh being undefeated as
Yeah,
well.
three
That's
and
another one
zero.
that kind of stood
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
People weren't really expecting that, I guess, when the season started, and people probably didn't really expect Justin Fields to be the starter. But here he is, and I don't think he gives that position. I don't think he gives that that spot back
yeah.
unless barring injury. But that's another team that kind of out to an early surprise. And other than that, I guess kind of we mentioned it a little bit too. It's just the level of play early
Mm,
has just been not good.
no,
Like it's been pretty bad. Like the 10 a.m. games, 10 a.m. on the West Coast for us, but those morning slate is just bad. Like it's
yeah,
just not good football. Like people have been kind of talking about that too more. Um, but yeah, we'll hope to see better overall play in these next couple weeks.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully. Let's jump into best bets. I think you let us off for college, so I'll start us for pro. Let's go. My best bet. I'm gonna go Cards -3 versus Washington. I think this is a good spot for Arizona. Washington coming off a Monday night game. You couldn't look better than Washington did last week. Yesterday. Yeah, or Monday, sorry. They shredded Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's defense is terrible. It's given up a lot of points this year. They made Jaden Daniels look like he was playing back at LSU. Like everyone was wide open. Arizona's not going to give that up. They actually limited they made stops on Detroit last week. Arizona's offense was not helping them out, but I think this is a get right game for Arizona's offense. Washington's defense is nothing special. Burrow moved the ball with ease, and I think the Cards cover here -3. Give me a field goal, and I think Kyler gets back on track.
Yeah, I mean, I see it says it as a bounce back for the Cards too. Tough loss for them last week. But I just feel like this offense is, I guess too good to look bad against Washington. I mean, we saw it yesterday. Burrow was moving the ball because every time the Washington would get up, you would see Bengals just go drive,
Yeah,
get in range, get in range. I see some of that, this weekend with Kyler, Marvin Harrison, and everything. Um, I just think, yeah, like overall, just it's a really good spot for the Cardinals to kind of get back on track against I was about to say Redskin, but I guess a Commander team that we don't really know what they are. We know they're not going to be great, but with Daniels looking good yesterday compared to this weekend, like you don't know, you don't know what you're gonna get with the rookie quarterbacks week after week. So yeah, I'll certainly lean Cards here.
Yeah. All right, you play, Dave.
Yeah, so I guess we're going to go back to the team that I just keep playing, I guess, every week. We're going to Indianapolis +2. Again, yeah, I feel like
That's
I've been
your
on
third
them.
straight bet on them, isn't it?
Yeah, so
That's
they burned
funny.
me. They
Yeah.
burned me. No, I faded them week 1, and then I backed them week 2. I backed them last week, and then here I'm back with them again. But
Yeah.
you have Indy +2 here. Kind of just what I see. Like it's one of those games where you look at the line and you think it probably shouldn't be exactly what you would think. Just first glance looking at the line, and Pittsburgh's 3-0, probably a misleading 3-0. I think if I can just look at these at the past 3 games that they played. Um, Pittsburgh's defense is elite.
It is.
Um, Richardson makes a ton of mistakes. I mean, we talked about like red zone mistakes, throwing interceptions. He has the ability to make these big plays. Throw these like 70-yard bombs and all that. And looking at this line +2, you would think Pittsburgh should probably be a little bit higher of a favorite here. So I'm gonna take Indianapolis, at home +2. Probably end up sprinkling the money line here. I think they'll get like a hard fought 1 point victory. Here if you take the points, maybe a 1 point loss here and there. You know how
Yeah.
those Steeler games just end up in weird scores, 2019 or
Yeah.
whatever it might be. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I just kind of look for the Colts to put up a good performance here, and it's the NFL. Week after week, it's just, you know um, you can't really take too much of what you see in the prior week, and I think it's kind of gonna end up showing up here.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Yeah, I like the side. Colts +2. I think Steelers are due for a loss eventually. Maybe they will start 4-0, who knows? But defense is elite. But I like Richardson does play well at home. He has made some pretty errant throws, but I like the offense here to be able to eventually move the ball. They got the factor with Richardson being able to roll out. Uh, Steelers played a Herbert team where Herbert couldn't really move. I was playing on a busted ankle, so I like the ability. I think Richardson's going to have a lot of rollout opportunities to go take off and run and get a lot of yards. Also, Taylor's nice piece. Yeah, I like the Colts here at home. I mean, Pittsburgh's offense is nothing spectacular. Fields, yeah, he looks good, but his defense has been helping him out a lot. He just doesn't turn the ball over, and he's playing smart and trusting his defense, which is what you got to do. But I think eventually this could be the game where they need to put up more offense and they don't do it. So, yeah, Indy +2. I'm gonna go West. I'm gonna go. Speaking of the Chargers, I'm gonna go Chargers +8. Yeah, they got a lot of injuries. With all Slater out, already ruled out. Herbert has not been ruled out, but I'm expecting Heineke because of this line. I'm expecting Heineke to play. I'm okay with that more than a touchdown. Heineke's a veteran quarterback. He's been in a lot of games. He's been to the playoffs with the Commanders a few times. This won't be too much for him. And like I get the Chiefs are the world beaters of the world champs. What business do they have laying over a touchdown? They have not they haven't even been close to covering over a touchdown this season. Every game has been down to the last possession with the Chiefs. Got lucky against the Ravens. Not lucky, but came down to the last play. Obviously, the dude didn't get his foot in. Bengals, they could have easily lost that game because the pass interference bailed them out. And Atlanta got another pass interference that wasn't called. So I don't think the Chiefs have any business laying over a touchdown. So yeah, I like the Chargers over a touchdown +8 here. I think Heineke can put together enough drives to keep it within the number.
yeah, I mean, especially 8 points in the NFL, like this is a divisional game at the end
Yeah,
of the day. Yeah, it's a Chargers home game. It's gonna end up being a Charger road game with all the
yeah.
Chiefs fans, this and that. Like it's already baked into this number. But yeah, just a divisional game of over a touchdown. Like I mean, it's tough in division to win by margin. So I see the Chargers like barring kind of whether you were saying Heineke's more than able as a NFL backup QB to go in there and like cover a game like this. I mean, we kind of look at like Malik Willis out there in Green Bay. People are like, oh, like this guy, he's gonna get rolled out there. He's he's not a good QB, this and that. Kind of people have been saying. I mean, look at them. They're coming
Yeah.
out. Like he's doing perfectly fine. To get a couple wins for Green Bay, and I think Heineke's a better backup quarterback. I mean, if you really want to like kind of
Mhm.
think about it and all that. So, yeah, I certainly lean the Chargers way this week.
Yeah. Quickly, we got a few minutes left, Dave. 3 minutes.
Okay.
So yeah, just so you know. Next play.
Yeah. So I'm speaking of Malik Willis here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Green Bay -2.5 against Minnesota. This is another line that just kind of like screamed out. Why is Green Bay favorite here? I mean, it could be Jordan Love. It could be him. Potentially coming back, or the line's telling you that they're expecting him to play. Even if he plays or he doesn't play, I think this is a bad spot for Minnesota. I mean, they're a good football team. They've showed the first 3 weeks. And maybe kind of like with Pittsburgh, like they're just kind of like, due to come out a little bit flat. And Minnesota's had, three, like they had 3 pretty good wins. They beat the Niners at home. Week 1 they had the Giants and they blew them out. But
Yeah.
I just can see this as being one of those spots where Minnesota kind of just fumbles a little bit, and just doesn't come out with a full performance here in Green Bay. And Malik Willis, he's done enough, these last couple of
He's been
weeks
solid.
to
Yeah.
yeah to kind of get them the wins and set them up for victory. So yeah, just the line just kind of screams take Green Bay. So
Yeah.
we're use that as my second pick.
Yeah, I like it at home. Malik's played good. Willis. Don't know if Love will play, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Malik Willis. Yeah, no reason why he can't hang with the Vikings and make this game tight. LaFleur's had a good game plan for him. Yeah, I think Green Bay can definitely hang. They're healthy besides Love, obviously. They got all their pieces, everyone on offense. They're moving the ball really well with that read option with Willis. They're doing that a lot, I noticed in their games. Yeah, Green Bay. I agree. My last pick, we got like less than 2 minutes. My last pick, I'm gonna go Raiders -1 here. They're playing the Browns. Do it quickly. Games in Vegas. I love the matchup with the in the trenches here. Raiders D line versus that terrible Cleveland O line. Cleveland gave up 8 sacks against the Giants last week. I think Crosby and Wilkins have a field day. And I think this is a bounce back game for the Raiders. Pierce was pissed off at coach the way they lost, saying players are making business decisions. He ain't gonna put up with that crap. Also said that Minshew may not even be at the starter this week. May go to Aiden O'Connell. I don't think that's a downgrade necessarily. He played almost all season last season, so it's not going to be anything big for him. Yeah, I expect a big bounce back spot here. This is not the old Raiders coaching. I think Pierce is going to have these guys ready, and I think they cover the 1 point in Raiders. Less than a minute.
Yeah, I think the Raiders as well. Kind of you were saying if O'Connell were to get the start in this game or even play in this game, I think it's an upgrade. To be honest, Minshew's not been good this year. So yeah, and the thing too is like a lot of the public will kind of look at the Raiders like, oh, they just lost to Carolina.
Yeah,
I want to fade them, but no, I mean week after week, the Raiders are going to come out, I think, and put a really good performance this week and kind of not the best team in the league by any means, but I think they put a good performance here. And this Browns team can easily be heading down to a spiral in the season really early. So yeah, I like the Raiders here.
Deshaun Watson looked like the worst contract and worst trade in NFL history already. It's crazy. Yeah, check us out at Winners Get Money on Twitter, TikTok, and our YouTube channel, guys. Sorry we have to speed it up here. We're running out of time. But yeah, check us out.